3. Jill. It'd be easy to say it started with Hector's suicide, but that's not true, really. He was only a piece of something inherent to here, and maybe everywhere. It's still happening, right now, and so on, pushing itself forward. Because suicide goes on forever, the wrists always bleeding out, the feet always leaving the bridge, the rope always catching short, it never ever stops. Kinfield is built on graves, just like anywhere, but maybe more so. On footpaths, you'd find more arrowheads than you could fit in your pockets. So many no one even gave a shit about them anymore. The town was shrinking. Every month it felt like there were fewer stores, fewer restaurants, fewer homes, fewer people. Everything going to ruin like the old mills where our ancestors had worked, weaving fabrics and carving paper from pulped wood. Everything dissolved into vacant lots, the emptiness expanding. The Oshalit River pushed through a tier in the mountains, through the hydraulic dam, snaking down across the west end of town. The marshes gnawed slowly at the neighborhoods. Night fell like a lid slipping between the sky and mountain tops, and you could go into the choke of dark and feel Kinfield breathe. It wasn't just the trucks rumbling off Route 12A or the oscillations humming off the street lamps and warehouses. Beneath it all, you could hear Kinfield gasping in and out. Amir. I woke up on the gross couch in Tyler's basement. He stood with his back to me, staring into the scrying mirror he made from an old picture frame and a can of black spray paint. His cheeks twitched. His teeth gnawed on something. I sat up. The couch springs creaked beneath my weight. He turned. His face was blank, someplace distant. Very slowly, he grinned. About time. It's almost 4. Lou. As long as I can remember, there was that low hum of suicide ringing through my body. I'd close my eyes and have flashes of strange industrial machines punching holes in my skin, my form cracking on rocks beneath a jagged cliff, 1,000 blades reducing me to ribbons, rearranging my body in ways not available to me in life, pushing me across the threshold to be reborn as something novel. That was one reason I followed the forum, to see all the examples of brave individuals radically altering their state of being, knowing that there was no chance of ever coming back. Black background, red text, green text, gray text. Droplums with dropples, 06, 07, 2018, 1343. Why is it all men? That's allowable, 06, 07, 2018, 1354. What is, the forums or the suicides? Because the answer to both is, it's not. Droplums with dropples, 06, 07, 2018, 1358. I thought only dudes were offing themselves. Misty Payne, 06, 07, 2018, 1407. Last year, Sally Forrest slit her wrists under Lily Williams Bridge. That summer, Ariana Glad drowned herself. There's a whole lot more. Yes, it's mostly boys, but not exclusively. Droplums with dropples, 06, 07, 2018, 1413. Were they hot? Piss respect, 07, 06, 07, 2018, 1417. Ariana was a thought. Cancer Wizard, 06, 07, 2018, 1420. Someone was telling me only the guys hang themselves. Anyone confirm? Bees, 911, 06, 07, 2018, 1425. Mostly, because hanging is mostly masculine. It's violent and demonstrates anger. One last fuck you. Young Caligula, 06, 07, 2018, 1429. It's more than that. The loop is everything that is happening, or was happening, or will happen. The loop meets itself, and either it ends or it starts again. Crazy Bob, 06, 07, 2018, 1438. Slow clap. Amir. We ate some sandwiches and hauled off on our bikes toward Cold Brook Drive, up to Liberty toward Jill's place in the shallows. She sat against the waist-high chain link in front of her yard, blue hair, a black dress, and chubby legs stuffed into ripped fishnets, messing around on her phone. Her bike rested on its side. She looked up and gave a fake little half-smile, her eyes puffy and red. Tyler dropped his feet down to the pavement and slid the bike to a halt. Jill pushed off from the fence, hugging and kissing him. I felt nauseous. Then her face scrunched, her eyes nearly sealing shut. Did you hear about Hector? She said. No, what happened? Tyler threw me a glance. I wasn't about to say anything. I treasured any small secret between us. He died last night. No shit. He was going for something like surprised or sympathetic, but it came off all wrong. He sounded unplugged. Bummer, I said. Jill's face crumpled further. Sorry, babe. She held her arms around her chest. I have to pee, she said. Jill. I sat on the toilet with my palms over my chest, trying to breathe. Took another Ativan. Texted Kennedy to see if she wanted to come with us. Kennedy. Sorry, boo. When I move, I puke. I washed up, smeared on some more concealer and eyeshadow, and exhaled through my mouth and inhaled through my nose again and again until it was all out of me. I practiced my smile in the mirror. I made myself smile until I believed it and went back outside to the swollen, pollen-clogged air, a smile on my face. Hey. Tyler smiled back. Hey. I got close to him again. So where's this thing you wanted to show me? Amir. Tyler wanted to make us internet famous, so we started a video channel and went to a bunch of places trying to film ghosts. Mostly we just ended up drinking and getting high. He'd always say, if we play this right, we'll be set for life, like in the movie. Sometimes his pitch would be so powerful I'd almost believe him. We shot our first segment about the Mika witch. I tried telling the story about when we were little, but he shut off the camera and said that it never happened. You guys haven't been through the abandonments, right? Tyler said. Jill shook her head. Neither had I, but everyone knew about the place, and I knew Tyler had been aching to check it out. Then let's go. He peeled off on his bike, and we followed. Dad always told me to stay away from there, that it was filled with junkies and bears. Ashley used to say it was haunted, or that it was a gateway to hell, but I don't even think she believed that. Sometimes I'd dream about the abandonments, even though I'd never been there. Lou. Black background, red text, green text, gray text. Hiss respect. 06-16-2018 0101. Song that makes you kill yourself after you hear it. Listen if you dare. For real though, it's pretty cool if you're into that sort of thing. Heard it for the first time about a week ago, and I'm still here, so I bet you'll be fine too. Dead Kid. 06-18-2018 1532. Yeah, this EDM guy did a dope version of it. You can hear it here. Piss Respect. 06-18-2018 1550. This is sick. Pagate. 06-18-2018 1553. Catch you in the obits, boys. Amir. We pedaled down over the Lily Williams Bridge, where Ted Pulaski and Marge Kramer hanged themselves the spring before. Turkey vultures circled above, settling down their big ugly bodies on thick maple trees. Stupid Rick had told me that when Connor Thompson shot himself, his corpse was so rank the smell drove the vultures crazy, and 40 or 50 swarmed his house, breaking their necks and wings on the windows and door frames trying to get inside. Tyler signaled left, and we chased him uphill, the river to our right. The sun ebbed down over the mountains, and it began to feel like anything could happen. Lou. Black background, red text, green text, gray text. Nude hamster. 05-11-2018 1907. Just smoked Whirl for the first time. Saw my dad and my dog. Both died last year. They were folded up on the bed like a pile of clothes, or draped on the door like a towel. Worst thing that has ever happened to me. Anyone got tips for dealing with this shitty come down? Bees 9/11 05-11-2018 1920. Smoke a lot of weed, preferably with a friend. Watch a movie too. Nothing intense or deep, just something fun and light and stupid. Then smoke some more weed. Godspeed, young buck. A real bad time. 05-11-2018 1921. Or just kill yourself, lol. Amir. Tyler skidded to a halt. We were about an hour away from town. We coasted past overgrown bushes into a deep rolling graveyard. Rows of chipped pale angels, half-ovals and crosses standing like sentries. He pointed beyond the cemetery to a steep hill. At the top, a pair of headlights scythed through the twilight. It's up there. Tyler had found a way to sneak in online. He said we'd have to approach from the bottom of the hill, crawl through the brush, lie low, and wait for the security cruiser's headlights to pass. This gave us about 20 minutes to get over the hill and up into the fences. And if we followed the fence to our right, we'd find an opening. Tyler handed Jill his flask. She swigged and handed it to me. It wasn't the decent stuff from the night before, this time sour and cheap. Tyler took out a silver plastic packet, Whirl printed across the side, and pinched out a clump of dry, purple-gray leaves, stuffing them behind his lip and between his molars, gnawing them gently. He snatched the flask back from me and swigged it again. When the sun was all the way gone, we hit our bikes and each took another drink of whiskey. We jogged through the cemetery, to the hill, and started climbing. Pricker bushes tore at our arms, legs, and cheeks. Tyler lifted his hand and we stopped. You hear that? Rumbling exhaust, a dim glow over the top of the hill. The pair of headlights cleaved above us. We dropped to the sharp, moist ground. The car stopped and idled. I whispered that we should leave. Tyler hushed me and said to wait. Minute after minute rotted by, and then there was a sound of gravel shifting beneath tires, and the headlights gradually swerved away and over us and disappeared. Now, Tyler said, and we got up, running toward the lip of the hill, clearing it onto the dirt road. We kept running until we hit chain link. We followed the fence to the right, feeling along the links until Tyler stopped us. I think this is it. He pulled the chain link back, put one leg through and then the other, then ducked on through. Come on. Jill followed, then me. We heard exhaust rumble again and ran into the darkness. Jill. Broken, weed-riddled asphalt twisted ahead like a dark serpent, leading through a wrecked-up neighborhood. Burnt-out trailers and rain-rotted houses, with young trees growing around and through them. Rusted husks of old cars half submerged in soft earth. Ruin in woods. We drank and smoked, listening. Do you feel that? Tyler said. Feel what? But I knew what he was talking about, this electric sensation in my belly, lassoed up from the earth. Like something buried, right? He smiled, and it was such a weird smile that I looked away. Like a cusp. What? Amir said. Shh! Let's keep going. We started walking again, listening to owl calls and coy dog voices. This place is so goddamn vibey. Tyler tapped record on his phone, turned it toward himself, and said, Welcome to hell. Lou. According to Blake Wilson's foreword to The Entropic Pantheon, of what limited details exist pertaining to Baumhauer, few have been verified. To those who knew him personally, he was not a philosopher, but instead a physician, and an unremarkable one at that. His spiritual beliefs were largely kept private, and correspondence between he and his editor suggests an unfulfilled desire on his part to have his work published pseudonymously. Furthermore, posthumous and, to be sure, factually baseless, speculation paired with the admittedly strange nature of his death do nothing but muddy a nuanced perception of a complicated man. So instead we are left with only his work by which to know him. The book you hold in your hand is a testament to the power of discipline and imagination, a guidebook for the will. Through it, brave men can possess a life of endless openness and endless discovery. Nothing will die, and nothing will end. Amir. Tyler stared into the camera, talking about a man who'd been obsessed with measuring the human soul. He called him the modern saint of suicide. Jill turned from the camera, rubbing at her eyes with her fingertips. Jill. Sometimes it seemed like I was the only person who felt anything when someone died. Everyone else made a joke of it, so it had to have been me who was wrong. Tyler had Amir hold the phone and film him. He pointed to the top of the street. It was a smear of blue-gray in the moonlight. That's his house, he said, to the camera, not us. Lou. Black background, red text, green text, gray text. Creaky Gate has a posse. 02-04-2018, 11:01. Why do certain places attract suicide, like Golden Gate Bridge or Beachy Head? Curse? That's allowable. 02-04-2018, 11:46. Practical reasons, probably. Those places are so high up the drop's almost guaranteed to kill you. Numb Days 3, 02-04-2018, 12:01. Yeah, then what about a whole town? That's allowable. 02-04-2018, 12:07. I'm not claiming to have any answers. I'm here for the same reasons you are. Amir. The house was like a twisted up napkin or a filthy KKK hood. A round house, with walls corkscrewing into a pointed steeple. The woods were darker in its space, like a place that wanted to kill you. Tyler smiled wide. He reached into that silver packet and stuffed more leaves between his lips. Yeah, okay. You still recording? I pressed the red circle on the screen and held it at arm's length. Jill stayed behind me, out of frame. Okay, we've just made it. From the outside, he pointed toward the roof damage, and I tilted the phone to capture it. You can see it's pretty messed up. Doesn't look very stable, but I think we're going to check it out. Tyler led us around the building until we found its entrance. My stomach twisted. All right, Tyler grinned into the camera. Here we go. Jill. My skin itched like insects underneath, tiny slithering amoebas in my blood. My head throbbed. It felt like I was going to puke if I went in there, but I followed him in a mirror just the same. Just as I stepped through the front door, everything, the itching, the headache, fell away. Lou. Black background, red text, green text, gray text. Creaky gate has a posse. 06, 09, 2018, 0259. How long before the strings go away? It's been a few days now and they're fucking me up. Busted literature. 06, 09, 2018, 0333. I always thought it was hair. That's allowable. 06, 09, 2018, 0338. For me, it was a week, give or take, but I guess it's different for everyone. Shouldn't be more than a month, though. Amir. The door opened too easily, into a rotted hallway, slimy puddles underfoot, two black doorways and a staircase curling up along a round, windowless wall. We wandered the floor, checking each room. A kitchen with all its appliances and drawers torn out, a den with nothing but ripped tires stacked on soggy mold black carpeting, and a dining room with an upright piano bashed apart and knocked on its side. Piles of old cigarette butts and beer bottles, moths and dust particles clouding the light. The upstairs was more of the same, two rooms littered with old, soiled sleeping bags and a dented oil drum and more empties. A third room, maybe a study in a past life, jammed up with rusted file cabinets and collapsed bookshelves. Tyler told me to shine the light at the ceiling. There. A length of choke chain hung from a wooden square. Tyler stretched and grasped it, pulling open a trapdoor. A ladder slid down. Tyler grinned at me, at the camera, and began climbing. Wait a sec, I said, but he was already at the top and through the door. He poked his face and arm back through, waving us up. Come on, it's cool. I climbed the ladder and pulled myself up into the attic. It was so much colder than the rest of the house, like deep fall. I flashed the light around. A single round room, rising into a point. Old plank strewn across the floor and piled along the edge of the wall. A small diseased tree rising from an iron planter's pot in the dead center. This is it, Tyler said to the camera, pointing at the tree. Jill wrapped her arms tight around her body. Why's that there? To mark it, probably. Mark what? But he didn't answer. Amir, come here. He stepped toward the tree and fell onto his knees. He craned his neck back toward the camera. Let's see what we can pull out of this place, he said. Jill. Tyler bowed his head. He mumbled a few words I couldn't make out and began humming. He balled his right hand into a fist, his thumb sticking out, and raised it to his face, drawing his thumbnail down from his cheek to his neck. With his other hand, he removed a black and orange box cutter from his pocket. He stretched the cutter out toward the tree and drew an oval in the air. He hummed louder, bobbing his head, stuttering the sound. He stretched his right hand out toward the tree and slid the back of his forearm with the blade. Lines of dark red rode down the skin like strands of thread. My heart coiled, and I began to shake. He returned the box cutter to his pocket and clutched around his wound, squeezing blood onto the bark. He went silent, placing his palms together like in a prayer. Werner Baumhauer, we are not afraid. If you are still here, will you give us a sign? The wind outside ripped through branches, a rolling white noise. He spoke again. Werner Baumhauer, we are not afraid. If you are still here, will you give us a sign? The walls and roof buckled and braced under the gust. Werner Baumhauer, we are not afraid. If you are still here, will you give us a sign? He stretched his arm out and squeezed more blood onto the bark. A voice reached out from the dark. Hello. Lou. Black background, red text, green text, gray text. Chest taint, 04-22-2018, 1612. You guys know about cordyceps fungus? Takes control of ant brains and it kills them, or makes them do its weird little bidding. Is it possible it could have adapted to humans? That's what's happening. CMVL SU 333, 04-22-2018, 1620. You are aware there's an award-winning video game about this very thing, right? And you're wrong. Cordyceps doesn't take control of ant brains. It takes control of their bodies, which is a huge difference. Young Caligula, 04-22-2018, 1622. Yeah, I doubt that's what's happening, but the plant spore fungus stuff is an interesting thought. One thing is that there are plants that when they are getting eaten by ants or caterpillars, they have hormones and stuff that attract wasps to come and kill the invasive bugs. And some folks think that there are plants doing something like that to us, but in other ways. But I really don't know. Numb Days 3, 04-22-2018, 1631. Are you like a doctor? Amir. I fell down the ladder, fell down the stairs, banged my shoulders and hips on every door frame, running the fuck out of there. I ran out the entrance and through the woods until a spins caught hold, and I buckled over, puking on my shoes. I heaved in hot air, breath after breath, gradually realizing I was alone. Tyler? I said. Just shadow and trees and tires and oil drums and wrecked jet skis, but also something rustling. Tyler, I shout whispered. It's me, Jill's shaky voice. She stepped through the blue tint. Where's Tyler? I don't know. She was broken up. Jesus, I left him in there. What the fuck was that? We have to go back. She exhaled deep and snorted up wads of mucus. We have to go back. She turned and started jogging back toward the house. Jill. Tyler stood beside the house, smoking a cigarette with a man in gray paint splattered coveralls. He turned and smiled. There they are. Hey, Tom, this is my girl Jill and my boy Amir. Guys, this is Tom. Tom lives here. Tom was maybe in his late 30s. Filthy, sunken face. He twitched and shivered in the warm air. You aren't going to rob me, are you? He said. Tyler sucked on his butt. Chill, man. He took out his bowl and started packing it. You want to smoke? Really? Tom's eyes lit up. We should go. I was so done with that place. Tyler shook his head. Tom's cool. Don't worry about it. Smoke this. He passed me the bowl. I lit it and sucked a small hit and passed it to Amir. He did the same and passed it to Tyler, and Tyler handed it to Tom. Tom inhaled big and erupted in a fit of wet, phlegmy coughs. He passed the bowl back to Tyler and wiped his mouth with the sleeve. You guys are like the nicest people I've ever met. Lou. Black background, red text, green text, gray text. Possum Jenny. 12/11/2017, 22:23. Smoked whirl and a whole bunch of books fell off the shelf. My monitor cracked just by itself. The strings? And now my dog's real sick. Don't know what I'm going to do now. Busted literature. 12/11/2017, 22:24. I don't think I'm going to smoke whirl anymore. Droplums with dropples. 12/11/2017, 22:40. Whirl's a poltergeist drug. Bees. 9/11, 12/11/2017, 22:44. What do you mean? Droplums with dropples. 12/11/2017, 22:51. I don't know. Amir. After another bowl and a couple cigarettes, we finally dragged Tyler away from his new junkie friend and booked out of there. We snuck out the way we came in, didn't see the patrol car at all this time, took our bikes out from the bushes and set off toward home. I'll always have nightmares about that curling roadway at night, the occasional car or truck whipping around the bends. You always heard them before you saw them, and each time they drove by, a vision of its bumper tossing me from the road flashed behind my eye. Another rumbled up behind us, headlights in our backs, stretching out shadows far out ahead of us. An old blue pickup truck whooshed past, pulling off into the breakdown lane and slowing to a halt. The driver's side door opened and a figure stepped out. Jill. It was Dad. He shut off the engine and turned back to us. Come here. We all started forward. Not you, just her. Dad drove trucks until he died, but he always wanted to be a teacher. He went to the library whenever he wasn't on the road, taking out books to bring with him on deliveries. He loved local history, particularly pre-colonization histories and tribal folklore. I think he read those because he hated being away from home for so long. Sometimes he'd see Tyler at the library, and that'd be enough to win Dad's approval, if only somewhat. Teach a boy to love books and he's set for life, he'd say. He only ever said that for my benefit, but it meant a lot to me. He took me by the arm and pulled me up the front of his truck. What are you doing up here? We were just... Don't lie. What are you doing up here? Just riding around. He pulled me closer, beer hanging off his breath. Bullshit. You were screwing around in the old house, weren't you? Dad. Don't. He released my arm, closed his eyes, and pinched the bridge of his nose. Look, I don't want you going in there. It's dangerous. There's bums and junkies and who knows what else, and... He looked behind me, toward Tyler and Amir, and who knows what else is in there. I started crying, feeling weak and stupid. Dad came in and hugged me. I'm not mad, I just want you to promise not to go in there again. I wiped snot and tears off my face with my shirt collar and looked him in the eye. I promise. Lou. Black background, red text, green text, gray text. Young Caligula, 05/30/2018, 2309. The face when you smoke whirl and meet your future ghost and he tells you not to do something you're about to do. Bees 9/11, 05/30/2018, 2320. The face when you smoke whirl and meet your future ghost and he tells you to do something you hadn't thought of yet. Dead Mechanic, 05/30/2018, 2322. Poltergeist. Young Caligula, 05/30/2018, 2327. Poltergeist drug isn't accurate, more like a scrying drug. Possum Jenny, 05/30/2018, 2333. What about the broken monitor and bookshelf? Crazy Bob, 05/30/2018, 2347. The dead are just pissed. Amir. Jill's dad seemed like kind of an asshole. This road's dangerous during the day, he said, looking over us. If I catch any of you up here again, I'll call your folks. He had us pile into the cab of his truck, cramped, with Jill in the middle next to him, and me on the end with Tyler on my lap. Jesus, he muttered. I better not get pulled over tonight. Every few moments he tugged and twisted the sides of his black and gray mustache. Tyler's skinny, bony ass was sharp against my crotch and thighs. He squirmed, grinding his bones against mine. Sit still, dude, I whispered. What? Jill's dad barked. Nothing. Tyler rooted around in his pockets. Come on, dude. I cocked my head around his shoulder and watched him pull out a small silver packet. He pinched up a gray-purple wad and stuffed it into his mouth. Tyler? Jill's dad glanced toward us. Tyler, what the hell is that? Tyler quickly pocketed the packet. What, sir? I never heard him call anyone sir before. Is that dip? Yes, sir. You're a little young for that, aren't you? Yes, sir. The muscles in Tyler's right arm spasmed gently into my own. Jill's dad leaned into her ear. Honey, I don't want you doing stuff like that. A black shape fell from above, cracking against the windshield. The glass split into a web. The shape thumped off the hood into the ground. Jill's dad swerved to the side of the road. He got out and looked over the ground, then back to the hood and windshield. Tyler slapped his hand over his mouth, giggling. Jill's dad got back in the truck and started it up again. Better not fucking get pulled over. We soared over the bridge, up through the shallows into downtown. Before dropping me and Tyler off at Tyler's place, he went inside and ate pills he'd stolen from his mom until we fell asleep. Before dropping me and Tyler off at Tyler's place, we went inside and ate pills he'd stolen from his mom until we fell asleep. Lou. It's a round, gray room. Its walls pulse gently. The center is a gaping hole filled with black fluid. The hole speaks to me. I can't make out the words, so I step closer, slowly. I hear them clearly. I turn to run and begin to fall. If I hadn't woken up, I would have fallen forever.